Okay, so we're going to find the inverse of a 3 by 3. This is going to take a little bit of time and paper. And the only method we have is to do it with augmentation, that method. So, you could say, well, isn't there some handy formula out there? Maybe, but it's probably a lot of work. So we're just going to do it with this method. The first thing to do is to get that augmented matrix. So we're going to say, we're going to be working with the matrix 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0, and then 3, 3, 1, 0, 1, 0, and then 2, 4, 1, 0, 0, 1. Now I'm going to do this the way the book does it. It's not my normal method. I normally just say, get a plan, stick with the plan, live with the fractions. Their method avoids the fractions, and it's a good method, so it's just a little more, I guess, creative or something. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these rows. I'm also going to introduce the notation they use. It's a very common notation with matrices. So what we're going to say is row 1 and row 2 are going to switch places. Okay? So I'm going to draw the matrix box, I guess. I don't want to make it too big. Don't use up too much paper because these take, maybe get an extra piece of paper. Okay, the bottom row is going to stay the same. 2, 4, 1, 0, 0, 1. A little cramped there. And then the other two rows are switching places. So I'm going to have the 3, 3, 1, 0, 1, 0. And then I'm going to have the 2, 3, 1, 0, not a 0, 1. Get that out. 1, 0, 0. Okay, so it looks like that. So all we did was switch two rows. Now, granted, there are 6 entries in each row, so it takes a little bit of time. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this middle row by a -1 and add it to the top row. The way the notation is written, that green stuff is my notation, but the way they write it is negative row 2 plus row 1, and it's going to go into row 1. It's very important to know where we're putting it, okay? All right. So now, I'm going to try to make it a little bit bigger. The bottom two rows are going to stay the same, 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0, 2, 4, 1, 0, 0, 1. And now that top row is going to change. Now what's going to happen is we're going to have the 3, 3, 1, 0, 1, 0, and we're going to add that to -2, -3, -1, -1, 0, 0. So what I did was I did that multiplying right there. I multiplied that by a -1. Okay, now I have to add those together. And what am I going to get? I'm going to run out of space. 1, 0, 0, -1, 1, 0. Okay, that's going to go then in that top row. So 1, 0, 0, -1, 1, 0. Now that looks pretty good because our top row, if you compare what we're trying to get the identity on the left, see, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now what we're going to do, let's see. Oh, we're going to get a 0, and we're going to get it right here. Now, it doesn't matter if I get the other two to be a 0 or the bottom one to be a 0, but I'm going to get the bottom one to be a 0. Doesn't matter which 0 you get first. Okay, to do that, we're going to take this middle row, multiply it by a -1, and add it to the bottom row. So the bottom row, or let's see, I think we're going to put it in the middle row. Well, we'll put it in the bottom row. Okay, and then we'll switch them. That's fine. All right, so how do we write that? Well, it's going to be the opposite of row 2 plus row 3. And I'm going to put it in, I said I'd put it in the bottom row, so we'll put it in the bottom row. Okay. The top row is going to stay the same, 1, 0, 0, -1, 1, 0. The middle row is going to stay the same, 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0. And then now the bottom row is going to change. Now, a lot of times I just do that multiplying and adding in my head, but I find students don't always like that. So -2, -3, -1, -1, 0, 0, and I'm going to be adding it to 2, 4, 1, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so now I'm going to get a new bottom row, which is going to be 0. So I'm adding these. 0, 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. So 0, 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. Okay. Make sure I copied everything right. All right. Now it's going to be helpful if we switch these two rows, because then I have my 0 and my 1 where I want it to be, and that's going to be great. So the way we note that is we're going to take row 2 and switch it with row 3. So it gives us a chance to do another row switch, which is kind of nice. Okay, so the top row is going to stay the same. 1, 0, 0, -1, 1, 0. And now those bottom two rows are going to switch. 0, 1, 0, -1, 0, 1. And then the 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0. Okay. I think I was thinking about something else for a minute. So things are progressing nicely. Our top two rows are looking pretty good for getting that identity. We don't want this 2 here, so we need to get rid of that. So we're going to multiply the top row by -2 and add it down to the third row. So the way we write that is it's going to be -2 times row 1 plus row 3, and we're going to put that in row 3. All right. So here comes our matrix. The top two rows, we already have those the way we want them, so we're going to keep them. And now the bottom row is going to change. So how is that going to happen? Well, I'm going to write it out because that's what I've been doing in the past, but you probably could do it in your head. You're going to have a -2, 0, 0, 2, -2, 0. So what I'm doing is I'm multiplying that top row by -2. Let me double check my multiplication. Okay. And then I'm going to add it to the bottom row. 2, 3, 1, 1, 0, 0. And what do I get? 0, 3, 1, 3, -2, 0. So let's put that in. 0, 3, 1, 3, -2, 0. Okay, so now what we really want to do is work on the bottom row. What we'd really like is we'd like to have a 0 right there. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to multiply the middle row, the second row, by -3 and add it to the bottom row. Okay? So you could go to the side if you're running out of room. So how do we write that? Well, we say -3 times row 2 plus row 3. We're going to put it in row 3. Okay, so let's write down our matrix so far. We've got 1, 0, 0, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. There's a lot of 1s and zeros in matrix work. Okay, and then that bottom row is going to change. So how does that happen? Well, we're going to multiply by -3, that second row. So it's going to be 0, -3, 0, 3, 0, -3. Okay, and then we're going to add it to the bottom row, which was 0, 3, 1, 3, -2, 0. So like I said, a lot of copy work. Got to make sure we copy them right. Now watch, I'll make a mistake. Okay, especially when I'm talking at the same time. Okay, so my bottom row becomes 0, 0, 1, 6, -2, -3. Now we caught a lucky break because look, this over here is the identity. So we wanted the identity for a 3 by 3. So if you remember, I probably should have mentioned that earlier. The identity for a 3 by 3 is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. 1's down the diagonal and 0's everywhere else. Of course, we did that when we augmented it. Okay, so what does that mean if I have the identity on the left? That means I have the inverse, I'm assuming it was called matrix A, on the right. So A inverse is going to be -1, 1, 0, -1, 0, 1, and 6, -2, -3.